What's up, dedicated Dragon Ball denizens? I'm Brian, and we're here for another episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. Excited to get to you all in the final weeks of FB05, the new adventure era. We're moving into Rivals Clash, and I've got a Green Gohan deck for you all. It's kind of more of a fun deck, nowhere near meta or anything, but you know me, I love making my fun decks, and that's what we're doing here. We're getting a fun deck. The first one I actually make since regionals, so we're going to get into that. I'll get a quick little overview of that. Well, not a quick overview, it'll be an in-depth overview of each card. We'll go over the strategies, strengths, and weaknesses of the deck, and we'll think about some other cards to include in the deck, including I'll have it separated between cards that you can play now as of this week on the client, and then cards coming in to consider swapping with the Rivals Clash set. So, let's get into it. And as always, the deck list is going to be up on the left-hand side. It's kind of a smaller list than usual, which is kind of nice. It's very simple in many ways. And in fact, I got as many Gokus and Gohans in it as I could to kind of be on theme and help with the searcher that we'll talk about in a minute. And just a lot of 4-ofs and 2-ofs for really more so for the extras and things like that, some 3-ofs, all that good stuff. But anyway, let's talk about Gohan. So Gohan is actually from the first set, FB01 Son Gohan Childhood, and interestingly enough, maybe for you, you may think so, chat, I've never used him at all. In fact, I didn't even know what his leader ability was, and the funny part is I've played against a few of them, and I just never really took the time to pay attention to what his leader ability actually is. So anyway, let's talk about that. So Gohan Childhood, 15k, draw a card when attacking, awaken at 4 or less, draw a card. Pretty basic in that regards. Then we have him when he is flipped over. I gotta say, Gohan Childhood, this version of Gohan where he goes Super Saiyan 2 against Cell is definitely my favorite version of Gohan. I think probably pretty much anybody's. Maybe the Gohan Beast could kind of go above that for some. But anyway, I love Gohan at this stage. Such a cool stage of things for him. So let's see. When attacking, draw a card, 20k. Basic on that regards. And activate battle once per turn. Place one of your energy in your drop. This card gets 15k power for the battle. So pretty good. I actually found this ability, if we can get our 5-cost Goku out there that we'll talk about and leave him there, it's basically a free ability that you can use both on offense and defense, which is pretty nice. You know, a lot of these, most leaders, they only get to kind of use their ability for like increased power on their turn, you know, considering leaders like Nameku and androids, you know, they're going up to 30k only during their turn, whereas the Gohan, yes, it is only one attack, obviously, but, you know, you can get up to that 35k. And even if you're not, you can sacrifice an energy to do so. So I've built this deck kind of around that. I mean, he's a ramping leader as most greens are. Ramping or have something to do with energy, at least most early leaders. And so I kind of built this deck around him kind of being able to heal himself and really ramping as much as possible, so that we can kind of be ready to use that ability and also to get our 5-cost Goku out there. Okay, so let's jump into some of the specifics in the deck. I went with Goku for my cantrip. I did want to get a cantrip in there. I felt like it's a good one to have as a Goku. But let's really talk about this one. This Chi-Chi is just perfect for this deck. Look at the 5 cards, top 5 of your deck. Reveal a Goku or Gohan Childhood and add it to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck. Right now, really notice though it is Gohan Childhood, so most of them in this deck we can get, but there are a couple Gohans in here that we're not able to draw with Chi-Chi. But the top 5 and being able to grab one is really good. It really helps us get our Goku we need, get some Gohans, whatever, right? Where there's many options that we have, and we're rarely going to fail on this because of how many of those 2 types of cards we're playing here. All right, so let's jump into the rest. Now this one I was just kind of looking for a low cost 10k combo card that could do a little damage, and this one kind of fit that perfectly. I don't find myself playing this Goku a lot in the battle area, but I have at times. It's kind of a common card as a 2-cost 10k combo that starts at 15k attack with some type of requirement you can satisfy in order to power it up. And this one's pretty solid. You just need a Gohan Childhood in your drop, and he gets 10k power on your turn. So pretty good. I oftentimes try to more so keep him in hand. There's a lot better 2 costs to play that are going to ramp us, like our Krillins or our Gohans. But he's good in a pinch, and really you want him for that combo power. So that's what I chose him for. And you can also grab him with Chi-Chi, which is nice. Helps you not fail it. Right, now we've got Cell Jr. I do love the Cell Juniors for being able to grab our extras back from drop, especially those instant Kamehamehas, which if you can keep that Goku out there, you're able to basically play them for free, because the Gohan stops you from putting them out in drop. So those are really good. I like that card a lot, and I like this Cell Jr. If nothing else, for the draws. This is one of the few battle cards in here that I have 3 of. Just couldn't quite make 4 in there. Didn't want to get this deck too high in terms of amount of cards. Alright, moving on. This card I really like in this deck as well, the Gohan Childhood. 2 cost, 20k and 0k combo. So, on play, place 1 card from your energy into drop, and then add the top card of your deck to your energy. So that's kind of cool. What I like about this is it's kind of a way of, let's say I have to charge my extra because I don't really want to do anything else. Then I can put that extra into my drop, grab it back with my Android, and then put the next card of life, next card of my deck onto my energy, sorry. The downside of this is sometimes, a lot of times, I somehow end up getting bad luck and getting a super combo charge, but, you know, luck of the draw, that's how it goes sometimes, right? So this one's cool, and the cool thing about it too is that 1 energy goes into active mode. So as long as you obviously use one of those 2 energies that you use for the Gohan to play him, you're getting this for free. And so in essence, a 1 cost 20k hitter is pretty good. And a lot of times you're going to want to pair him with Krillin. I love pairing these 2 where you're going to throw out that 20k, and then if you're on turn 3, you have to be on turn 3. That's when I love doing this on turn 3, is you throw out the Gohan, and then you can throw out Krillin because you get that energy back. You can add a life to hand, and then when you're KO'd, you add a card from hand to energy in rest mode. A lot of times your opponent's not even going to want to like KO this bad boy, which is pretty funny. It gives you a 20k hit every turn because they know that you're trying to ramp. So a lot of times I'm just able to attack as early as turn 2 or 3 with this Krillin, just a 20k every turn. You know, it's kind of like a little fly out there. It's not that hard to defend against, but it's an attack that can knock them cards from hand per turn. Kind of similar to like Pansy in red, right? Now then from here, now notice this one is the Son Gohan Youth. So this one's one we're not able to grab with our Searcher Chi-Chi. It's unfortunate, but I guess I get it. Now, this one's a good one, though, because this one kind of satisfies our removal. This is actually literally the only removal card we have in this whole deck. So that's a weakness of the deck. So it's why I really need this Gohan in there, despite him, you know, obviously not being able to get Searcher. But he's a Self-Awakener as well. Obviously, he has those 2 different abilities, right? If your life is at 2 or less, choose a battle card in your opponent's area and KO it any. That really comes in clutch against stuff like those Brolys, against Vegetos, really anything, right? Goku, UIs, all that good stuff. And then if we're under 2 life, or sorry, over 2 life, we add 1 card from your life to hand. And then we could KO with 3 costs. So that's still pretty good. It's the early game being able to KO the 3 cost. I'll take it. I'll take it. Now from there, I don't have any 4 costs. So it's another weakness of this deck is it's mid-game. Not only do I not have a 4 cost, but I only have 1 5 cost, which is this Goku, which is one that you don't even want to attack with. But it's such a good card in Gohan, right? So when this card is played, or when a card is placed in your drop from your energy, add the top card of your deck to your energy in rest mode. So for one, as soon as you play this bad boy, you ramp up, and you gain an energy, right? and then every time you place an energy into drop, you gain an energy. So that means when we're using Gohan's leader ability, we're using it for free. Instant Kamehameha is now used for free. But guess what? Remember that Gohan? This guy? This was, it kind of ends up in a net 0 because we're placing one in drop and then we're gaining one, right? But what actually happens with our Goku is now we gain, we get a net +1 when we're placing in drop. It automatically adds another in rest mode, and then we gain the other active. So that makes that Gohan it's kind of tricky, because once you get up to 5+, you're oftentimes not wanting to play that Gohan. But if you can fit that in there, and let's say you're getting up to 8 energy, then maybe now we can do, or even 7 energy, you could play him for 2 and play your 6 cost. So then from there we go straight into 6 cost Gohan, which, you know, despite what it seems like it's in all of our ramping we're able to do, it's not that hard to play him. You do need to survive a little bit. But here he is. He's a 35k attack, 5k combo, and then on play we're adding the top card of your deck to your life. So kind of helps you to survive a little bit. You know, you may sometimes get down to 4, 3. Sometimes you're at 4 and you get right back to 5. I like this card. It's you know, it's just a rare card, but it kind of adds a cool mechanic here and gives us some recovery, right? And then from here now, this one's the one I'm a little bit less sure about. In my practice, I haven't used him a ton. I guess I did say that Gohan was our only removal, but this one is actually also a removal. It's kind of a hefty removal, because we have to discard a card, but then anything 5 or less gets KO'd. So that is pretty good. If the board starts to get a little bit out of hand, I'm always going to want to play this guy. I did only include 2 copies because I don't think I need him that often. He's pretty situational from there. On that regards, I've got 3 of these guys in there as well, and then 3 of the other Gohans. I don't know. I think 4 would be nice, but not super necessary. Alright, now moving on to our last really attacking card is going to be our Goku, who is our 7 cost secret rare 45k. This one's searchable with Chi-Chi, so thinking about that is really nice. And then once we're at 2 life, we could play him for free. But really, with the ramping deck like this, I'm often able to play this guy for 7 and feel just fine about it, because, hey, we can ramp up to 7 pretty easily. But if you do get down to 2 life, now we're able to play him for 3, and we could do some pretty good damage with him because we play him for 3. By this time, a lot of times, by the time I get to 2, I'm actually at 7 energy. So sometimes I'll play him, play another maybe 3 cost Gohan, and then I could play something like Destructo disc, right? So I get 2 Destructo discs. It is more of like another situational one out there. I mean, it's really nice to get a crit and really using that on our Goku and just boosting him to 65k and say, do you want to destroy your hand or do you want to lose 2 life and not gain from it? So it's pretty nice. I like it when I'm able to use it. Back real quick for a second, I did use Bulma as my super combo because I just love this anniversary edition. But we'll talk about later if you're going to use this, if we're going to go into Rivals Clash and use the new Gohan that we'll talk about, you may want to swap out for Android 16. Right? Then from there, Instant Kamehameha. I did only put 3 of them in there because it is one that we can't, or at least I don't really want to use until late game. So by then I usually have the 3 and I could play Cell Jr. and grab it back. And then I'm playing 3 of the Gigantic Meteor. Just too good of a card, too easy to get to 6 energy to not include some copies of that. I did go with 3, so you may actually, as I think about it, maybe swap one of these, maybe go down to 2 Gigantic Meteors and 4 of the instants, but really up to you. Let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses and the strategy of the deck. Very straightforward, as you would expect from a Gohan, is ramping early. You know, really trying to ramp up with our, hopefully bait them into attacking our Krillin. At least from there, like swarming the board really with our 2 cost Gohan. That's essentially able to play for 1. It's kind of, it's not necessarily a ramp in that regards, but it's kind of is, right? Then we can get our energy to drop as long as our Goku's out there. Heal is needed, and then hey, once we get down to it, then drop that secret rare Goku and try to finish him off. The strengths of the deck, it does have solid ramp. It's not spectacular, but solid. You know, it's definitely a lot slower than androids and just can't keep up on that end, or almost any other greens. But it's pretty good in that, right? You can heal or KO the board, and we've got our 6 cost or 7 cost Gohan that we could kind of go from there. Like, is their board getting a little bit out of hand? Okay. Or are they just kind of getting one guy out there, and we could throw out that Gohan 6 cost heal and maybe, you know, combo up to take it out or something like that, right? Remember that it does have pretty strong late game, because if we could keep that Goku out there, we've got a 35k attack and 35k free defense every round. And then we've got our Goku. We've got, you know, it's not a crazy strength that's coming from that 6 cost Gohan, but it's solid. Or if we play the 50k body for 7, we don't even necessarily have to KO their board. You could throw it out there, and now that's just 50k that's dealing, right? Weaknesses. The mid game of this deck is extremely mid. The mid game is mid. You know, we only have one 3 cost Gohan, which is a 20k, and then from there everything else is 20k. It's really like a top-sided. If I can get into the frame, it's top heavy, right? Where we've got 20ks for our 2 cost, 20k for our only 3 cost. Our 5 cost Goku, we don't want to attack, but he's 25k, takes us till 6. So it's really bad mid game, and also has minimal removal. The other thing, it relies on that 5 cost Goku. It's such a. This deck could be so much better, but it just can't keep up with these newer leaders with that, because you need that Goku. Otherwise, you're going to be doing the opposite of ramping. You're going to lose energy very quickly. Now, some other cards to consider swapping into the deck. The first one that came to mind to me was the 5 cost Gohan Future. It's a good 30k body out there, but really like protecting your cards, especially, you know, really early game where we're trying to get out there smaller cards, the 2 cost Gohans, the Krillins that may or may not want to protect anyway, the 3 cost Gohans, you know, so you could protect them and also help you throw one of those bad boys out there at the end of the turn. Or you can KO one of your opponents. The thing is that as that 5 cost, I'm really always wanting to play that Goku instead. This guy doesn't protect the Goku either. Like maybe if he protected anything 5 or less, I may want to throw him out first, take another turn, and then throw out the Goku. And maybe defend a little bit more, but he's not. So I just feel like whenever I've got that, where I've got a decision of like, am I always going to want to play the Goku first? Then I'm probably going to just go with him overall. Now, the other one would be Nappa as an obvious choice. You know, he's an actual ramp, right? So he's someone to consider. Maybe if you want to say, I don't know about Krillin. I'm going to go with Nappa to take that life and really ramp my energies, or maybe even over the Gohan 2 cost for a true ramp as well, and also an Awakener. Nappa is a good option. You know, he's someone to think about. Okay, then the other one is Master Roshi as a 2 cost. I like this guy just to be able to KO and, you know, get rid of some stuff on board. Don't think he quite fits in there, and in fact, I feel like there might be a better card we'll talk about in a minute that you can use instead, right? Then from there, the other one to think about would be the Android 17 and 18 as a double striker. You can even consider him over our 7 cost Goku. Maybe you want to say, you know what, I don't want to gain my lives, and I'm just going to throw him in there over the Gohans. Remember that the more Gohan, use childhoods that we remove, the less effective our Chi-Chi becomes, and also the less Gokus we have. So it's something to think about, but this one is a good card. It's obviously a double strike, and also gives you some removal 2-3 costs. So one to really think about. right? Now let's think about some of the Rivals Clash ones, and this one is really the only really random support that we get for Gohan. I'm kind of on the fence of like, is this a good card or not? For one, let's read it, right? Place this card in a battle area into its owner's drop. If your leader is Gohan Childhood and you have an Android 16 in your drop, play a Gohan Childhood with 6 or 7 from your hand in rest mode, right? So that's a little bit odd. I mean, I honestly don't think it would have been too OP to play them in active mode. Like the fact that they play in rest mode is a little bit ridiculous to me, especially considering we already have a card like the Vegito 4 cost in blue. Like they kind of took that concept and just made it significantly worse. Even if it costed you energy to do this, to play them in active mode, that is so much better. The fact that they go in rest mode is like, oof. And the fact that as a 5 cost to have 15k power is like, okay, by the time you play him, your opponent's awakened. So if you even want to attack with him, you're going to have to combo up just to get an attack, and then place and drop and play the 6 or 7 in rest mode. Obviously, you know, when we think about that, you know, we still get the effect. The on play of the 6 cost Gohan, you gain your life. You can potentially do the on play of the 7 cost Goku to wipe the board, and then he can't attack anyway. So that's not bad. I think if you are going to play him, you're 100% gonna want to be playing that 7, playing him into the 7 cost. But that's just me. So it's solid in that regard, but it is a 10k combo, so cool. Honestly, I do think that you do want to find a way to work him in to be able to play that 7 cost and wipe a board at 5 charge is nice. So, you know, think about it. All right, the other new one that I like, and this one is the one I would go over the Master Roshi, is the BR, right? Choose up to 1 battle card with a cost of 1 or less and KO it. So basically the same thing as Roshi. He's not going to self-awaken you, but he still does have that 10k combo. Yes, he has 5k less attack, but are you attacking with Master Roshi? No, you're not doing that. Who cares? Honestly, like, Gohan is, I feel, somebody who doesn't really need self-awakeners anyway, so the Roshi we don't necessarily need. If you really want to get some 1 cost destroyers, definitely throw this guy in. Okay, now honestly, these Brolys, these two new Brolys are not bad in Gohan either, if you could kind of get up to that charge, right? Maybe this one could be over our Gohan, our Goku 7 cost secret rare, the SR, right? So this card can't be KO'd once per turn. So that's like, okay, wow, he can't be KO'd. On play, switch this card to active mode. Obviously, that's more for the Broly leader. But if your life is at 2 or less, add the top of the card to your deck to your life. So that can really help Gohan's recovery. You get down to 2. You play this guy for 8 energy. You've got a 50k body that now is going to be very difficult to remove. So not bad. Now, this 9 cost one is another one that's interesting. I think, you know, Gohan compared to androids is going to be a little bit tougher and take a little bit longer to get to 9 charge, but he can do it pretty easily, especially if you can get that 1 or 2 of those Gokus out there. And you may even kind of create some type of win con strategy around, like, just maybe like playing that Goku, defending, like getting their board as clear as possible, and then playing this guy out. Would he work better in other decks? Of course, but it's an interesting one too, right? No matter what, you add the top of your card to your deck, choose all battle cards with 2 or more and KO them. Like, it's a ridiculous move, and then he's a double striker. 9 cost, 55k. He's going to be really hard to take out. So, you know, Broly, this one, if you could kind of think about making a more defensive Gohan deck here that ramps, maybe trying to ramp a little bit faster, this is one to think about. And I'd be really interested to try it out, but that's kind of that on there. Now the other one is probably this Rampage Control. If you really want to kind of go with like a boom boom here, or even on the 8 cost, man, this is a pretty good card. He gets 25k power in a battle. I mean, you probably just want to play Gigantic Meteor. Does pretty much the same thing. But you know, hey, if you wanna throw this one in instead, why the heck not? You're limiting yourself to the Broly of 8 or more, but try it out. Why not? And that's gonna do it for this episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. Hope you enjoyed my odd iteration of this Gohan deck. Make sure that you stay tuned for our next episode later in the week on Saturday, where we're gonna take this to the test on the online client. It's kind of bittersweet in many ways of moving on past this set and getting into the next one. We're moving into Rivals Clash, which should be pretty fun as well. If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You could become part of the Hawks Nest. We are a fabulous flock of fearless folks who love to do what we love. I love making these videos and making these crazy odd decks out here. Excited to make some new ones in the next sets coming. If you're not ready to fly yet, that's okay. Just hit that like button. We'll show up in an algorithm near you in the near future. Make sure you leave a comment too. Let me know how you feel, what changes you would make. But until then, we'll see you next time.